Rev your engines and fasten your seatbelts. It's time for Thunder Talk with Dan Bailey, keeping you up to date on everything going on this season at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. Thunder Talk is powered by Arcadia Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Now, here's your host, Dan Bailey.
Hey, race fans, welcome to another edition of Thunder Talk. What are we going to talk about this week? We're going to talk about championships, and the best way to talk about championships is to talk with a champion. Joining us on this week's edition of Thunder Talk is multi-time track champion at Mississippi Thunder Speedway, Parker Hale. Parker, welcome to Thunder Talk.
Hey, Dan. Thanks for having me.
2 championships in your history at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. This year, the 2021 season. Even though we're only really a couple weeks into the season, you're doing well at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. You've already got 1 feature win this year under your belts. So let's get a scene setter from you about how you feel 2021 is starting out for you this year.
2021 has started pretty good. Like I said, we had 1 feature win up at Cedar Lake 2 weekends ago. Got a handful of seconds to third and then a couple top 5s. We have had some bad luck gremlins. Blew our motor up earlier this year. We've had some transmission issues, but when mechanically our stuff is together, we're running really good, and that's a good feeling.
So at Mississippi Thunder Speedway, even though we've only had 2 nights of racing in for the B-Mod division, because of the couple of rainouts these last couple of weeks, you are right there in the thick of things, just 12 points out of the top spot, sitting in third with former track champions Ryan Olson and Sean Walski ahead of you, and hot shoe Joe Chisholm and former track champion Eric Hans right behind you. Despite some of the technical gremlins that you mentioned just a couple moments ago, does it feel like you're building some momentum?
Yeah, I think we definitely have some momentum rolling. I mean, anytime you can run in the top 5 against those other talented drivers like Walski and Ryan Olson, Jim Chisholm, the people we race against weekly up there, I think we have some of the best cars in the country. So, when we can keep running good week in and week out and keep the bad luck gremlins away, I definitely think we have a car, and I think if our mind's right, we could possibly win another championship. But like I said, it takes a lot of luck for all that to happen too. You got to keep your nose clean week in and week out and just hope nothing goes wrong. And some nights you might want to race for a win, but you can't overdrive because you still got to finish the race and get those points for the night. But like I said, we show up to the race to win every night, and if we can, we can, and if we can't, then we want to finish as good as possible and see what happens at the end of the year points-wise. But hopefully we can just keep this momentum rolling.
So tell us about the car that you are driving for this 2021 season. Is this a new machine for you this year?
We got a new one last fall. It's a 2019 race car. It's been really good. It's different from what I'm used to driving. It's got a different style front end. So it handles a little bit different, but it's working pretty good for her so far. And hopefully we can keep her straight and quick.
Yeah, the nights that you've had that Rage chassis out on the track at Mississippi Thunder Speedway, it has shown its strength. Both of your feature finishes in just 2 starts have been top 5 finishes at MTS. And of course, you mentioned that feature win a couple of weeks ago up at Cedar Lake Speedway. So what reasoning for you was there to make a change? You've driven dirt duelers in the past. I think you've driven some other chassis in the past. Was it just to try something different? Are you the type of driver that just likes to explore and see what other cars might be like?
I was running my dirt dueler last year. Great cars. We ran those since 2015. I was just getting so busy around here, living in Winona, it was hard to run home and race out of my dad's shop. So last August, I think it was the week after the K-Town deal, John Dunn came forward and he had another car. So we kind of got something worked out where I help those guys and I drive his additional car in return, and it works out really good. We got a good friendship going. We really work well together, and good people to be around and have at the racetrack. So that's kind of where that all started. And then we got the Rage cars last fall. Zach's currently in one, and they're pretty much identical for the most part, and they're just good handling, well-built race cars. Like I said, we just went with the change. I'd never been on a Chevrolet front end before. We were always on Fords, and I just wanted to try something different, and we went that route, and it's working pretty good for us right now.
Well, it sure looks like it's working well for you. You are headed in the right direction. You've already got that first feature win out of the way. I want to talk about a subject that might be a little uncomfortable for you, but let's talk about prior seasons. Last year, I don't know if I would call it a bad year for you, but you weren't able to rack up a bunch of wins like you did in prior seasons. So what was happening with your racing efforts?
I think the biggest thing was just time. Years past, I put a lot more effort and time into our program. But it was just a weird year last year with, there was just a lot of other stuff going on, and the time was spent elsewhere. And I think it shows on the racetrack if you don't put the time and effort in. It's harder to get those wins. We had a lot of good runs. Like we only ran 18 or 19 times last year. We got a handful of seconds, thirds, fourths. Just didn't quite crack out a win, but we did have some good runs. I think effort and just putting time into our program is what makes the season successful. And I think last year it was an off year, and I lacked time into that program. It's totally changed. I had a totally different mindset this year, and it's shown so far that we've had a lot better finishes. We got a win early in the year, and things are going a lot better, so I look forward to that.
For a racer like yourself, and you'll forgive me, but I'm going to say for a relatively younger racer like yourself, who's already got a handful of track championships and feature wins year after year, when you got to the end of last year, were you at all frustrated? Was it a sense of, I'm glad that's over with? Or was it, am I overthinking it just because you didn't get a feature win that for some reason it might have bothered you?
No, it definitely bothered me not getting a win last year, but I knew that we still had the potential to do good things and win some more races. Like I said, it was just strictly the effort I was putting in, and it's kind of one of those things, if you're not going to put the effort in, the results aren't going to show as much, and I think that was the thing. So I think you're overthinking it a little bit, but hopefully we keep on the right path here in the weeks to come and throughout the season.
So when you did pull into victory lane at Cedar Lake a couple of weekends ago, when you were able to celebrate, were you like, this is the way that I like starting a season?
It was, yeah. It's nice to get momentum going early. I didn't mention this, but we went down to Arizona for the Wild West Shootout in January, and we had some good runs, but we also had a lot of bad luck. Just a lot of things did not go our way. So it was good to get out on the track early, but we did tear a lot of things up, and we wrecked the motor. And so it's nice to come back and kind of regroup for those 2 months we had. So when we picked up that win up at Cedar Lake, which was pretty cool. There was like 8,500 people there, which is insane. It was the biggest crowd I've ever won in front. So that was pretty cool to get out and see. And then had my girlfriend there, and Zach and John all came down to victory lane. So it was nice to have that moment and get that feeling back, because you just, truth be told, you don't know when your win that will be your last. You don't know no one is guaranteed, and they're all hard to get. So every one you get, you got to be extremely grateful and appreciative that you're able to do that, and let those moments happen. It's pretty awesome anytime you're able to pull in front of all the people and get that moment.
You have mentioned a lot of those folks, family members and fellow racers and friends, but I know that sponsorship is also a very important part of any race team. And when you're getting started on a year like this, it's always a great way to celebrate with those supporters. So which sponsors are along for the ride with Hale Racing for the 2021 season?
So this year we got Riverland Trucking, Wilson Truck Repair, Little Buckaroos Racing Repair, Oak Ridge Fabrication, OFI Performance, River Valley Radon, A&A Electric, Russell and Associates, Rage Chassis, Nate's Outdoor Recreation. I don't want to miss one, but can't do it without them guys, and everyone that helps and supports at the track, and even the people that just come down afterwards and talk, tell you had a good night, or just there, the ones that show up and give you a hand. I couldn't do it without all those guys. It's what makes it all possible.
Great group of local and area businesses and fans and friends helping out with Hale Racing for the 2021 season. Final question. I think I've posed this question to you before, but I'll ask it again. You are on the track at the same time as your brother Jackson is on the track. Do you drive any differently when you see his car around you or not?
No, I try to, just try to stay on the offense all the time. I don't ever want to get into like a different mode depending on who's on the racetrack, but it's definitely fun when we get moments where we find ourselves racing side by side or in the same heat race. It's pretty fun when those things happen, but it doesn't happen every night, but once in a while it does. And he's been running more and more up front and winning heat races, and he's having a lot better of a year, much better of a year, so I look forward to his success as well.
Parker Hale, driver of the number 28, multi-time former track champion at Mississippi Thunder Speedway, already a feature winner in this young 2021 season, and he's looking for more success as the 21 season continues. not only at Mississippi Thunder Speedway, but other tracks that he visits as well. Parker, as always, I appreciate you spending some time with us this week on Thunder Talk.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dan.
Hey, race fans, don't forget this Friday night, green flag action scheduled to fly again. Hopefully, we cross our fingers and Mother Nature will play nice with us. It'll be the Coca-Cola Driver Appreciation Night. That means that there's going to be a great crowd of racers to cheer on. Hopefully, there'll be a great crowd of you race fans in the grandstands as well. And remember, all of you members of law enforcement get absolutely free grandstand admission. Just bring your law enforcement ID, and we will welcome you with open arms at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. First green flag following the official opening ceremonies at 7:15. You can get all the information by following Mississippi Thunder Speedway's social media and their official website, MississippiThunder.com.
That was Thunder Talk, keeping you up to date on everything going on at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. Thunder Talk is powered by Arcadia Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram.
You ever notice that when you're on a fishing trip, you drive your boat all the way to the other side of the lake because you think that's where the best fishing is? And the people staying at the cabins on that side of the lake, well, they come and fish where your cabin is. You don't have to drive a long ways to catch the big fish. And at Arcadia Motors, you don't have to drive a long ways to get the best deal on a new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram truck. The best deals are right in the bay next to your cabin. Take the short, scenic drive to Arcadia Motors. ArcadiaDodge.com.